Hello. Well, welcome. I'm excited to be here. Let's see. Am I filling the screen again? I think we had some kind of issue like we did last time. There we go. Should be working a little bit better. I am, as you can see, in a different location. Typically, I'm at the park, but today is Labor Day, and so we may do a shorter video today. I slept in, which is nice. It's nice to have a Labor Day that you sleep in. And it's kind of a slower day for me, so I might take this AI session a little bit slower, and we'll just do just a little bit, and then really dive back in next week. You can probably tell I'm a little bit tired because I'm taking it slow today, but we're gonna go ahead and go. The nice thing about working here, so this is when I'm working at home, this is where I am back here. You can see. And this is real, by the way, just in case. I know a lot of people have fake backgrounds when they're working, but it's actually a door that opens up, and there's a bathroom back there. And this is a closet with clothes in it. So, anyway, this is a real space that I work on. So typically, my routine is that I will go, well, every day is a little bit different, but I'll go and bike to the park. I'll work like the first few hours at the park, go to a local library and work a couple of hours there, and then I'll bike home at lunch and then work here for the rest of the day. So that's what a typical routine looks like. Well, we're going to pick up with Google Opal. So let's see, Opal with Google.com. We'll see if I'm still signed in. Looks like I am still signed in over here. And we have this Scripture Listener V1, but if you remember, this was asking the user to upload content. So this one right here, it says upload your CSV/JSON. I mean, I don't know, if we click on advanced settings, it's still asking for an input. So if we were to start here, it's saying upload your CSV, and then we'd come here, we'd probably upload it from Google Drive or something like that, and then it would go through the steps of the app, and that's not necessarily what we wanted to do. Sorry, by the way, if you're just watching this video and catching up. I'm not going to go back and explain what the app is. You're just going to have to kind of follow along. But this is a mini app because that's what Opal does. Oops, not OpenAI. Opal with Google. It is where you can build, edit, and share mini apps. And that's what we're trying to do. We have this that we've tested with, and we had ChatGPT write the prompt for this mini app. So that's what we're going to do now, is go to ChatGPT, go to our history here, and we have an app that it's thought for 4 minutes and 28 seconds. So hopefully that's a good starting point. But I said, as much as possible, I don't want the user to have to manually upload the spreadsheets or any other sources of data. I want as much as possible the data to come from these public sources, right? And I gave it some public sources. So I said, think about it and really, produce an app that works. So we're going to just copy, and it's put this in Markdown, by the way, because I gave it instructions at the very beginning to use prompting best practices, and I gave like a list of prompting best practices. So it's actually kind of nice that it put the prompt. This is not actually like code. This is just a prompt. This is how any one of us could write a prompt. You can use Markdown to just structure your prompts a little bit cleaner, so it's easier for the chatbot to follow what you're trying to say instead of just putting it into one big paragraph. But other than that, this is pretty much in natural language. As you can see, it's saying build a mini app, and step 1, it needs to do this. Step 2, it needs to do this. Step 3, it needs to do this. So we're just going to try this. So we're going to come back into Opal. We are going to create a new one, and we'll call this Scripture Listener v2, and we're just going to copy and paste the prompt into here. Let's make sure that it went to the bottom. Yeah, looks like it did, and it's working for us. So we'll wait and see how this does. While I'm waiting, I might as well showcase one other thing that I might work on today. I get really excited about Halloween, and so I had just natural conversations with ChatGPT. I said, hey, we're gonna so I was using the voice mode, as you can see here. This is what that microphone icon and the time that it has there. And I said, hey, we're starting to make some Halloween plans. I know it's Labor Day. We have like a couple months until Halloween, but I just get excited about Halloween. I love Halloween. And so I said, we're making some Halloween plans, and we want to talk through our plans. So we have some kind of list of what to do. And it started coming up with a to-do list. And I was like, wait, never mind. Like, don't start coming up with the list. We're going to talk back and forth, and at the end of the conversation, I'm going to have you come up with a list. And so we went back and forth. We talked about cheesecloth ghosts, by the way, which is pretty cool. I'll show you on, well, I might have it on my Perplexity history already. Let's go here. Cheesecloth ghosts, here we go. So you can see, like, these are the kinds of things right here. Look, isn't that awesome? That just looks fun to me. So I bought some cheesecloth. Anyway, but this is about AI, so let's let's go back to AI. So I was talking back and forth with AI, just natural conversation, and this was literally while I was walking from place to place and taking things down. This was on a Saturday, and so it didn't really interrupt the daily flow of my day. And then at the end of the conversation, it put it all into a bullet point list of, like, here's your action plan. Like, here's where you're going to buy some stuff. Here's what you're going to do on Labor Day. Here's what you're going to do on other days. So it was pretty fun. But let's come back here. Okay, great. It's already built this. It did this actually a lot faster than I thought that it would, because I obviously was talking about Halloween. So that's pretty cool. But let's try it. Okay, Scripture Listener. Generate personalized listening plans for General Conference and come follow me. Okay, cool. Enter your current listening progress. Oh, see, this is the part that's kind of annoying, is that I thought it would keep track of my progress for me. Okay. Let's just go ahead and do this. I have, I wonder if I can, yeah, I can filter this. I actually use a different app to keep track of this, and I wonder if I can filter it by calendar. Let's see. How do I? We're just going to try. Oh, well, let's see. Can we do events? Can I just view things by? Okay, I'll just try. I'm just going to go like this. I have an ear emoji. Okay, I wonder. Okay, show. I just want to see the completed tasks, but I kind of have to filter through them. But I'm going to put this on a new tab, and I'll just say, I'm caught up with, come follow me based on today's date. I still need to listen to this week's material. We'll see if it's smart enough to figure this out. And then I'm going to put, here are the general conference talks I've already listened to. And then, man, I wonder, I'm just going to keep this. I could just copy and paste this list from this other app. I'm just going to keep this simple and say, I've listened already to all the general conference talks by President Nelson, President Oaks, and President Eyring. I've actually listened to way more than that, but we're just going to keep this simple and see what happens. Specified your desired listening pace. We'll just say moderate. And fetch and organize scripture content. Okay, interesting. So it's a mini app that looks like it is using AI, which is one of the questions that I've had. Oh, and I don't think you can see this. Let me... There you go. You can see it's fetching the and organizing the scripture study content here. But this is one of the questions I've had about Opal with Google, is if it uses AI, and it does. You can see right here, let's see, hopefully I didn't mess up the preview. Yep, it's still working. But you can see right here, it's saying generate personalized listening plan. And so this is using generative AI. You can see that little sparkle icon there to actually complete the task, which is pretty cool, but we'll see how well it does. It is kind of annoying though if I have to do this every time. So while this is going, I'm going to talk to ChatGPT. We'll put this on one side and then put ChatGPT on the other, and we'll just ask some questions. Hey ChatGPT, how's it going? So I currently created this Google Opal mini app based on this last prompt. Thank you so much. But I have some questions.
Sure thing. Fire away. I'm all ears. Just let me know what's on your mind and we'll kick it around. No rush on my end.
Okay, great. So one of my questions is, the app itself asks me to put in my current progress. And so I told it, I said, these are the general conference talks I've listened to. This is where I am with Come Follow Me. And now it's fetching and organizing the content to be able to make a plan for me. But I want it to be able to remember and keep track of my progress every time I use it. And so I want you to search the internet and tell me, can Google Opal store data for the user? So for example, how regular apps can have like a server, a backend, right? Does Google Opal have a backend development type stuff?
All right, so here's the scoop. Opal isn't really built to hang on to your data between sessions like a full-on app with a backend would. It's more like a here and now tool that runs your mini app on the fly, but doesn't have a memory of its own. In other words, Opal won't store your progress for you long term. If you wanted to remember where you left off, you're looking at plugging in something else, like a Google Cloud service, to do that heavy lifting. So, yeah, Opal's not going to be your personal progress tracker all by itself, but you can always pair it up with something that does the remembering.
Cool. Well, that's good to know. So, um, is there a way? Can you search the internet and let me know if there's a way to connect Google Opal's mini app with something like Google's cloud services?
All right, here's the deal. If you want to hook your Opal Mini app up with a bit of memory muscle, you can lean on Google Cloud Services. Basically, you'd set up a Google Cloud storage bucket and have your Opal app read and write to it. So you do something like this: create a cloud storage bucket in the Google Cloud Console. That's your stash spot. Set up a service account with permissions so that Opal can get in there. You'd grab a JSON key for that service account so the app knows it's allowed through the door. And finally, inside your Opal Mini app, you'd work in a few bits and pieces from the Google Cloud SDK. That way, you can toss your progress data into that bucket and pull it back out next time. In short, Opal on its own is a bit like a goldfish, no long term memory, but with a little cloud storage sidekick, you'll have a place to stash and retrieve your progress.
Cool. This is good to know. Thank you so much. So then the next question I would have is, in a separate chat, I developed a Swift. I think the coding language is Swift, an iPhone app, and I had you, ChatGPT. This is in a different chat, but write code for that. But unless I connect it to some kind of backend, that probably will have the same issue, right?
Yep, you got it. If that Swift app isn't hooked up to some kind of backend or at least some persistent storage, it's in the same boat. It'll run just fine, but every time you close it out, any progress that isn't stored somewhere permanent is going to vanish into the ether. So, yeah, whether it's Opal or a standalone iPhone app, if you want to keep tabs on your progress long term, you'll want to bring in a little backend magic. That could be a cloud service, a database, or even just syncing to iCloud. But bottom line, without something like that, it's all going to be a bit temporary.
Okay, so it seems like the first step really is to get the back end set up correctly, and then to use something like some other front end code development tool to actually create the app. Is that does that seem like the most logical first steps?
Yeah, you're on the right track. Think of it this way: it's like laying down a good foundation before you build the house. If you get your backend sorted first, whether that's a cloud database, a storage bucket, or something that can remember user progress, then everything else just kind of falls into place on top of that. Once you've got that foundation, you can use whatever front end tool you like: Opal, Swift, you name it, to build the user interface and let it talk to that backend. That way, the front end just focuses on looking good and being easy to use, and the back end. Yeah, that's a pretty logical plan. Get the back end squared away first, so it can hold on to all your progress. Once that's in place, the front end side, whether it's your Swift app or a mini app in Opal, just becomes the cherry on top. You'll have a lot more flexibility once you got that stable base.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. This has been very helpful.
Absolutely happy to help. Just think of me as giving you a little nudge along the way. You've got this.
Okay, I hope that that was helpful. Um, it was definitely helpful to me. I'll point out a few things. And by the way, it was a great conversation to have because this is still working, right? Still pulling it together. First thing that I'll note, based on that conversation, and I'm just gonna kind of re-say things in my own words, is that this is kind of an unusable app. It was great. We created two versions of this. Oh, we need to rename this to V2 so that when we go back out to Opal with Google, we can see we had a V1 and a V2 that took two different approaches. But okay, here we go. Let's see it. It came up with something. It's got, okay, next up, As a Little Child by Jeffrey R. Holland. That was good. Okay, and then this week's Come Follow Me. It's giving the title and the speaker, and and then it's yeah, there's a lot of information here that I don't need. I basically just want a link to the material to read. So as you can see, this is kind of unusable, right? Because the whole point of this app, if you remember from previous videos, and those who are tuning in for the first time, I'll remind you, the whole point of this app was to keep track of my scripture progress and have one very quick link for me to just click on, so that I can, on my bike rides to the park in the morning, I can just listen to whatever's next on my list. It's interesting. In Sunday school yesterday, we had what we call in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints a fifth Sunday lesson, because it was the fifth Sunday of the month, but that's kind of besides the point. Basically, in our Sunday school class, we talked about personal study and personal worship, and family study and family worship of scriptures like the Book of Mormon. So the teacher kind of pulled the class by a raise of hands and said, who prefers listening to the scriptures, right? Because if you go to scripture content of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, I'll just pick the introduction to the Book of Mormon here. There's this listen button, both in the app and on the web, as you can see, and I can hit this and hit play and listen to the content. And I actually, if I had a choice, I think I prefer reading, but it's very convenient to listen to at least some stuff or re-listen to stuff while I'm on a commute, right? Like I'm biking, because I'm not going to be reading while I'm biking. And so that's what this app was designed for, is to say, hey, where did you leave off in what you wanted to listen to? And can you just hit a button and just basically go right to the content and press play? Well, this is unusable for two reasons. One is every time that somebody uses the app, right? So I can hit this this app link here, and I could share it with somebody. You might have to, no, let's see, yeah, you can share it with somebody, but I'll just copy the link. It's only available to me right now. And if I use this, I wanted to actually share the app. I wonder why. Oh, this is the permissions, I think, to actually edit the app. So maybe I do have to make it public to share it, but I don't think anyone's really going to use it if I make it public. So I think we'll just be fine with that. Okay, let's see if that worked better. Okay, so you can see here's the app, but I have to start from the beginning and say, enter your current progress, right? And then by the time it actually puts together a listening plan for you, right, I'm already done with my bike ride. And so it's very slow, and it's not really useful for you to have to think through where am I in my listening plan, if you could just think through it and then find the content and press play yourself, right? This is supposed to be quick. So that's one reason it's unusable. And then the other reason it's not usable, because it doesn't remember your progress. It doesn't remember where you are. But from what we just learned, right, and this is part of the process of vibe coding and going back and forth with AI, is that Opal doesn't have a backend, right? Doesn't have a database. Doesn't have a server somewhere that's keeping track of the user's progress. And so we'd have to build that in first. And this is really interesting to me, because a lot of people talk about vibe coding, and you see a lot of tutorials online where people are like, wow, vibe coding, coders' jobs are going to be taken over, and da-da-da-da-da, right? Well, this shows you that's not true right now, because even some of these best vibe coding tools, and some of them do have a way to create the backend as well, and maybe we could explore those in a next session. But you still have to go to a lot of work to put together the backend that you want. And then if it doesn't work, you have to know enough about the code that even if you're vibe coding, troubleshooting the solution, you have to know how it works. Somebody with a coding background is going to be able to solve these problems much faster. I've actually talked to professional developers that have a background in that, And it's funny because some of them are embracing this vibe coding method, but some of them are saying it's just faster for me to code myself, right, than to have to prompt AI right. And so I think it still saves a lot of time, but there's still a lot of work and effort that goes into it. And you kind of have to know what you're doing. And so for somebody like me that doesn't really have a coding background, I know a little bit of HTML, a little bit of CSS, tiny bit of JavaScript. I started just scratching the surface of learning some basics of JSON, but like really, really scratching the surface. And I probably don't even remember a lot of the JavaScript stuff that I learned. So anyway, I know, just consider me as basically knowing nothing on coding, because the stuff that I know is so basic that it's almost as if I know nothing. And so for someone like me, I definitely don't know backend development. I don't know stuff with the cloud or servers or databases or things like that. And so I'm having to learn. And so the work that I'm putting into this with these AI sessions is really learning. And so in the stage that I'm at right now, it would be faster for me to pay somebody, even if they were to use vibe coding techniques, than it is for me to do it myself. But for the sake of this personal development, we're going to keep going with this, right? We're going to keep trying. I think I calculated the threshold of what my ROI is, and I think when we get to the point where I've spent like 7 hours and I still don't have a solution, then I think we'll give it up and move on to whatever the next thing is on the list, because this just is not, that wouldn't be an ROI by that point. But we'll just keep going on this and see if we can learn vibe coding. And the benefit of doing that too is that we learn as we go, right? I didn't know that Google Opal didn't have a backend, and I'm sure when we started I could have read that somewhere, but I just wanted to get my hands dirty and try something. And I think that's good. I think that's a good way to learn as well. So now we know, and I think the next step is to work on the backend, and that's what we'll do, regardless of whether we use the first technique, which is the Swift iPhone app type approach with Xcode, or we go back and use this Opal with Google. We're going to develop the backend first. So we're going to be learning about Google Cloud's backend solutions and creating an account there, and whatever we have to pay for, we'll figure it out and we'll go. So that's where we'll pick up next time. And then I'll make one other quick note as well, and that is with ChatGPT. So we'll just put ChatGPT over here. So this is the conversation that we just had. You may have noticed, and I'm just going to point this out just in case you didn't know this or you're beginning to AI, is when you use advanced voice mode, which is this button over here, which is what I just used, you can say to it, search the internet and tell me X, Y, and Z. And when you do that, you hear that sound, right? So I'll just do this again in a new chat so you can see. Tell me in 1 or 2 sentences something about Donald Trump.
Sure thing. Donald Trump is a businessman and former president of the United States who served from 2017 to 2021. He's a well-known public figure with a background in real estate and reality TV.
So that's great, but it didn't search the internet, and I'm muted now, so it's not listening to me. And this is important because it will tell me about Donald Trump, but it's not going to tell me anything about with the latest news about Donald Trump, because it doesn't have that in its model unless you search for it. So if I said something like, tell me the latest news, or search the internet and tell me X, Y, and Z, it will actually search the internet, and you can hear it doing that. I really like this. They've built this into the design with ChatGPT, and you can tell, oh, it's now doing a RAG search, which you don't need to really know what that means, but the point is it's searching the internet. to pull in information to give me. So we'll try something different, and we'll say, search the internet and give me the latest 2 big pieces of news about him. That sound that you're hearing, that means it's searching the internet.
Here's the scoop in a nutshell. Trump just announced he's planning an executive order to require voter ID in all U.S. elections, which is likely to stir up some legal pushback. Also, there's a federal judge who just blocked the deportation of hundreds of Guatemalan children, and Trump's been defending his care of policies after a court said he overstepped his authority.
The last thing that I'll point out is I said thank you, and there's 2 reasons that I said thank you at the end of the conversation. You'll hear some people say that they don't tell AI thank you because it uses more energy. It's a waste of generation, AI content generation, and it is a waste of your time to tell thank you. But I say thank you, especially in voice conversations, and I'll tell you why in a minute, and you can experiment on this on your own. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me know if you need anything else.
I have found that when I hit this end button right after talking to AI, it doesn't immediately show me the last conversation. But if I wait or say thank you, it will be more likely that I'll see the last conversation. And so I can see everything, right? And you can experiment on this own, and I'm sure it's getting better and better. But I've just seen that when I say thank you at the end, it's more likely to show me the end of the conversation. And we'll just try this out just as a comparison real quick, just so you can get a feel. Tell me about the Book of Mormon.
Sure thing. I'll keep it casual and brief. The Book of Mormon is a scripture central to the beliefs of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It's basically considered another testament of Jesus Christ, right along with the Bible.
Why
if you
is
want a
it
scripture
called
reference that's pretty
Mormon?
key, check out 3
Why
Nephi
is it
11.
called Mormon? Where does the word Mormon come from?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's keep it snappy. The name Mormon actually comes from a prophet historian in the Book of Mormon who compiled a bunch of ancient records.
Okay, so now you can see here, it's only showing me the first part of the conversation. Tell me about the Book of Mormon, right? It's not showing me the rest. Now, it may, if I give it a few minutes and then hit refresh or come back again, okay, there we go. Now it shows me the end. But I found that if I wait a minute or two after it responds, or say thank you at the end of the conversation, right when I hit that X button, it will give me the last response before I said thank you, which is useful. The other thing, now you may just want to wait a few minutes, or you may want to just end the conversation and then come back to it and refresh later, and that's fine too. But there's another reason that I say thank you, even though I know and I realize that I'm wasting energy and I'm wasting costs and I'm wasting time by saying thank you. And it's not because I think AI has feelings or that AI cares if I say thank you or not. I think it's because it changes my heart when I say thank you. I don't want to be the kind of person who is ungrateful when somebody does something for me. And I think the way that we talk to AI changes the way we end up talking to other people. And I think there's some preliminary evidence coming out that that is true. And so if you're rude to AI all the time, you're more likely to be in a habit of being rude in communication with other people. And I want to be the kind of person that expresses gratitude to other people. So AI might not have feelings, but I want to get in the habit of gratitude. I want to have an attitude of gratitude in my life. And selfishly, it's not just so that I can be kind to other people, but it's because there is a lot of research that shows that gratitude changes your heart. And let me actually, and changes your heart, that's a, what does that mean? I mean, gratitude has a measurable impact on people's reported happiness and all sorts of other things. Actually, ask ChatGPT itself. I've looked at some of these studies myself, so I can verify this information, but we'll just have ChatGPT give us a rundown. Will you search the internet and give me like a quick bullet point list of the most statistically significant and the ones that actually have like a significant effect size, the effect of gratitude. What is the effect that gratitude plays in our lives? And I just want like a quick bullet point list of the benefits.
Sure thing. Here's a quick rundown of gratitude's big perks: improve mental health. Gratitude reduces anxiety and depression. Better sleep. It helps you sleep more soundly. Some studies link gratitude to a lower risk of death over time. Stronger relationships. It boosts social bonds and overall well-being. And yep, all of these are backed by hollowed research.
Great, thank you so much. And what specifically are the benefits of expressing gratitude to another person?
Absolutely. Here's the quick bullet point version. Strengthens relationships. Saying thanks helps deepen bonds and trust. Boosts happiness, you and the other person feel happier. Reduces stress. Gratitude lowers stress levels. Promotes better health. Can even have positive effects on your physical well-being. So yep, sharing gratitude isn't just nice, it's kind of a win-win for everyone.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anytime.
So as you can see, there are benefits to gratitude. And so even if it takes a little bit more energy, right, which I think honestly it's probably a drop in the bucket, but some people would probably argue with me if everybody said thank you to AI, that's going to eat up the energy consumption. And that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But on the micro level, right, like not looking out, I think and even on the macro level, because I want us to talk to each other kindly when we're having conversations with real people. But on the micro level, at least, I want to be the person who lives in an attitude of gratitude. I want to have the benefits of gratitude in my life. I want to treat other people kindly, and I think the way that I treat AI will help shape the way that I treat other people. So it has nothing to do with AI having feelings or caring if I say thank you or not. It has to do with me and my habits of communication and the way that I would like to treat other people and the benefits that I want to see in my life from being in the habit of expressing gratitude. And so I think there's actually multiple benefits to say thank you to AI, and to me, the benefits outweigh the risks of the extra energy consumption or the waste of time or whatever it is. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out because you may have noticed that today and other days when I've talked to AI in the past, but that's my own personal philosophy there. Thank you for joining me. And by the way, I don't want you to subscribe. Please don't subscribe unless you actually like this content and you want to be here. I'd rather have 3 subscribers who really care about this kind of content and want to be part of this rather than having 1,000 subscribers that don't really care. So don't subscribe unless you really want to. Okay, have a great day. And I went over 30 minutes today. Maybe Labor Day actually led us to go over what we usually do, but it was fun. And we'll pick up with the back-end development, probably with Google Cloud or something next time.